What's up, everybody? It's your girl Riku Keyblade Master, and well, I just had a very interesting experience with a certain movie that a lot of people, for some reason, didn't really like as much as others, but I can kind of see why. So today we are going to be reviewing Lightyear. Now, beware, there are spoilers, so if you don't mind, I give you two options. Option one, you can go watch the movie and then come back and see this review, or if you're somebody that is like, okay, this is predictable, well, I'm not really gonna be too surprised anyway, then you can go ahead and watch the movie. But don't say I didn't warn you. I always tend to explain spoiler warnings, to, exclaim that there's a spoiler warning in most of my reviews, at least. Not back when I first started, because I didn't know if movie reviewing was kind of my niche, but now that I'm kind of starting to get back into the swing of it, okay, you know what? I'm rambling off again. Let's just get into it. So, we end up with the movie starting with a little bit of wording across the screen. It says, in 1995, Andy got a Buzz Lightyear toy for his birthday. It was from his favorite movie. Now, I'm going to assume, and the rest of the text says, this is that movie. Now, I'm going to assume that this is the movie that they might have wanted to release before, but I don't know whether to call it a prequel to the Toy Story franchise. I don't know. All I know is, in my opinion, it falls under astronomical category. Astronomical, get it? Okay, because we're dealing with astronauts here. Anyway, or a form of astronauts, excuse me. Anyways, they investigate a planet, and they notice that the life forms are extremely hostile. It's Buzz, Commander Hawthorne, and a rookie, which we don't really get his name. Maybe they revealed his name in the movie at some point, but I never really caught it. I could be wrong. If someone wants to explain in the comments, please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. Well, anyway, so the planet ends up having hostile inhabitants. Then some massive hijinks ensue, and they're trying to escape from the hostile environment. But the ship had some troubles, and it had a slow startup process like most ships do. I'm like, oh my gosh, are they gonna make it? Well, I should also mention, too, that Buzz and the Rookie did not have the greatest of relationships. In other words, Buzz sort of didn't like the Rookie that much. Buzz wasn't a big fan of the Rookie. But anyway, I'm sorry if this review is all over the place. It's just, I've done movie reviews many times, but few and far between. So please bear with me. I got plenty of movie reviews on my other channel that can prove this. Anyways, my apologies if this is not the best. So the Rookie, Buzz leaves him behind because he obviously doesn't want to bring him along because he thinks it's going to be a third wheel, going to bog him down. But Commander Hawthorne brings him along anyway, and I'm not going to lie, things take a very bad turn. This is when we later find out that the creatures are hostile. See, they're just walking, and then the Rookie gets snagged up by a bug. Or something. Behind a bush or something. I had a little bit of trouble trying to see what happened. But, I guess that's what you get when you don't have the greatest vision. Which sucks. So, yeah, these reviews are definitely coming from somebody who's partially blind. So. Which I don't like. I mean, it's okay in some perspectives, but it's not so okay in others. But anyway, so after discovering that the creatures are completely hostile, then we jump back to what I said about the ship, and they try to attempt hyperspeed and get the heck out of Dodge, so to speak. And basically, well, Buzz makes a huge mistake and underestimates the crystal's hyperspeed capabilities, and they get stranded on that planet. And then, afterwards, a few years pass by, and they all try their best to pull their resources together and create a new hypercrystal to do some more hyperspeed testing so they can get off the planet. However, things take a turn for the worst when Buzz Lightyear, during a test flight, is gone for approximately 4 years. Let me think. 4 years, what did he say? 4 years, 19 days, 4 years, 19 months, and 4 days. Which is the information that we got from his little companion cat that got issued by Star Command. Enters Socks. Now, if you ask me, he is one of the cutest little cats, robotic cats I have ever literally seen. I'm not even gonna lie. Reminds me of the same cat that I was watching Baymax. One of the Baymax miniseries, and there was a little cat that looked just the same as Socks did. Its problem was that it swallowed some kind of chip or a headphone or something. Either way, the cats look distinctly the same. And it's crazy who voices Socks. I forget. Hang on 1 second. All I know is is that he worked on The Good Dinosaur. Hold on one sec. Hey Google, in accordance with the movie Lightyear, who voices the animated character Socks?
Sorry, I didn't understand, but I found something similar. Do you want to know who does the voice of Socks in Lightyear?
Yes. Hey Google, who voices Socks in Lightyear?
On the website cheatsheet.com, they say, American actor, animator, artist, and director Peter Song plays Socks the cat in Lightyear. Do you want a little more context?
No, thank you. Yeah,
American actor, animator, artist, and director Peter Song plays Socks the cat in Lightyear. Song helmed the 2015 Disney film, The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, that's where I recognize his name from, was The Good Dinosaur. I haven't quite yet seen that film yet, but the thing is, this little cat is sort of like an emotional support robot that can cough up real hairballs. Now, if you ask me, I'm starting to wonder if he was actually like a cat with a robotic collar, kind of similar to that dog in Up, or if he actually was a CGI cat, robotic, but complete with robotic projectiles, which technically come out like hairballs. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine at that point. And it's just crazy because of everything that happened. But anyway, Socks was given to Buzz for emotional support, bottom line. And at first, he's not warming up to Socks at all. Alright? At first, he's not warming up to Socks. And, you know, it's just going to take a little bit to really go through. But before we get to that, we find out that Commander Hawthorne got engaged. And once Buzz gets to his quarters, after Commander Hawthorne gives him the orders to get some rest, that is when Socks gets introduced. And I gotta say, move over Goddard from Jimmy Neutron. Socks is just... I don't know who's cuter. Like, I think it's a tie. Socks is just as cute as this other animatronic cat that I discovered in another game I played, an old PSP title called Scooby-Doo Who's Watching Who. And the name was Cat Scan. She was like a black and chrome looking cat. She was the mascot for the GCI, Ghost Scene Investigators, which are technically a parody to the Crime Scene Investigators. But anyway, the point is that Socks and Buzz start to really warm up to each other. But by that time, the Star Command leaders are like, oh no, now we have to pick up that robot and basically decommission it, disassemble it, turn it off. And I'm like, what is it with cute characters and getting decommissioned? Come on, man. I swear. Like, oh my gosh. What is it with that? I mean, holy crap. That just took a dark turn real quick. Only to find out a huge mission ensues on trying to save Socks from getting decommissioned. And Socks doesn't know what's going on until Lightyear flat out tells him right after Socks mentions notifying Star Command that Star Command was going to decommission him. So there's no point in notifying the people that were going to decommission you. And yikes. Like I said, this movie got dark real quick. And then, on this other planet that Buzz lands on, we end up meeting Commander Hawthorne's granddaughter, Sasha. And let me tell ya, the heredity is real. I look at her face, and I look at the granddaughter's face, and I'm like, whoa. They're almost practically the same person, just shrunk down. Anyway, the point is, she's training to become a space ranger, except for one nasty flaw. She has spaceophobia, or astrophobia would be the technical term. And she's... in other words, she gets space sick. And I don't blame her. I really don't. Anyway, there was one part where this did come into play, where when they finally got off of the planet that they were being chased by a bunch of robots that kept saying Zerg, the thing is this, can't believe I'm saying this, but there was a lot of those bots, and then eventually they end up in a warehouse where they get trapped by this red beam, and the only way they could get out is by merging together and hitting it like a metronome would hit a wall, except a lot harder. Basically. You guys remember the pit and the pendulum, right? Yeah, I'm not going to go any further with that. But anyways, the point is, they had to go and hit that wall all at the same time with a high amount of weight in order to disable the warehouse controls. And, well, I mean, they said it was a facility, but inside it looked like a warehouse. Anyways, the deal is this. They find the old ship, and I find it funny how before we go on, I find it funny. There's one joke I forgot to point out, that when Commander Hawthorne and Buzz in the beginning were fighting, she says, "Don't call it the turnip." And then when they get into some serious trouble, he's like, "Oh," she's like, "Get to the turnip," and he's like, "Oh, now it's the turnip." And I just couldn't help but laugh at that part. But anyway, they get through, and let's just say there's Sasha, and then there's I forget the girl's name that likes to mess with the weapons. And then there's an Australian guy. And the Australian guy thought it was just a fun little deal, and that's why they got into it. That's why he got into it, because he thought it was going to be fun. But no, he quickly realized it was not all fun and games. Oh boy, did he have a rude awakening coming for him. And he always constantly messed things up. He tried to shoot targets with a big ass fucking I forget what my brother said they were called, but it looked like a big ass bow and arrow. Oh, shit. I'm trying to remember what they're called. But anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. Those big bows and arrows where, like, when you're shooting, you're riding horseback, you gotta stand on the horse and shoot with it because it's too big for you to control while standing at your own height or something like that. Anyways, enough about those crazy weapons. He finally gets it on the last shot. He finally knocks down all the air robots, and they manage to escape. That was all before the warehouse entrance hijinks. And then going back to the warehouse hijinks, they find some vending machines, and they each get sandwiches, and they're like, what's with the... Buzz is like, what the... Why is the meat on the outside? You know, like, the bread is supposed to be on the outside, blah, 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 whatever. Just, what is with this? It's crazy. Anyway, at some point, Socks basically gets short-circuited by the Australian dude. And that's when we find out that Socks actually... I don't think Socks even came from Star Command themselves. I think Socks actually came from Commander Hawthorne because she recorded a special message for Socks specifically to look after Buzz. But I wonder if she told Socks to say that it was Lightyear protocol, or that it was Star Command protocol, you know, because she didn't want to be revealed right off the bat. Sadly, though, we did not get to see the wedding of Commander Hawthorne and the chick she met. And it was crazy because they were working on the same team, except she was in the lab. She was a scientist in the lab. Which I mean, a lot was happening since Buzz was gone during that 4-year whatchamacall. And that test that he did, and he kept failing those tests. And then the next thing you know, after the hijinks ensue with those guys, Socks is finally reawoken. We get the message from Commander Hawthorne, and we get to see Sasha as a little girl. And then everybody started lamenting what happened, why they joined, and Buzz finally opened up about wanting to quit too. But Commander Hawthorne saw something in Buzz that others didn't. And that is why, no matter how many times he failed the mission, which Star Command finally gave up on getting off the planet, so they decided to use a space laser to protect themselves. And it was bad. Because Buzz just was pretty much ashamed of the team, and I wouldn't blame him. But either way, a lot of hijinks ensue. Sasha overcomes her astrophobia in a clutch, and with the help of Socks, nonetheless, as well as Buzz. And that was pretty much it. They managed to get back to Earth, and but before that, Zurg turned out to be Buzz's older self, and a lot of capturing hijinks ensued, and it was a mess. Now, about that scene that I was talking about, I wonder if, if there was a DVD version or whatever, I wonder if it would be in the deleted scenes, because I remember a lot of theaters saying that they weren't going to show it because of a lesbian scene, which I don't understand why they were being big babies over that. But whatever. Let's just put it to you this way. It turned out to be better than what everybody said it was. There was a little bit of a boring, but honestly, I probably am saying that it was better because I'm a bit more alert. Whereas if I was tired, I probably would have fell asleep right to it. And just, it was crazy. But at the end of it all, they get to Earth. Starkman catches up with everybody, and Lightyear gets scolded for what he did, but in the end he gets promoted, and they said he gets to pick who he wants out of the Zap team, only to realize that Lightyear had a perfectly good team. And we get one last look at Sasha, and she says, "Look, Grandma, I'm finally a space ranger, just like you." And it ends with them going off on their first mission. Along with Socks, of course. Little cutie. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's the Lightyear review. Although, I want to say about a 9 out of 10. It would have been a 10 out of 10 if they kept that scene that everybody was being a big old whine baby over. But since they took that out, yeah. I mean, at least they let Commander Hawthorne's character mention her relationship, but that's still not enough to get a 10 out of 10. Sorry, but that's going to equal to about a 4.5 when it comes to stars. Like I said, the pacing was actually decent. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5 stars. 9 out of 10 when it comes to regular points. Scale of 1 to 10. Until next time, I've been an Angel of the Dawn / Riku Keyblade Master, and I'll see you next time. Peace, and I love you all.